Hello, everyone, and welcome to NGF News. Today we are back with our latest global developments. We do apologize for the gap, but if you guys are watching our social medias, we were moving down to DC, and we are now fully moved in. So this is our new office setup, completely different. If you guys seen the video recordings from my old room, but here we are. We're in DC, and we're in the center of it all.
Yeah, it's definitely great to be down here to finally, be a part of one of the largest global political centers in the world. So this is a new beginning for our team and a new beginning for our channel. We hope everyone enjoys where we're going from here. We got a lot of big updates. I don't know, Alec, if you want to give them out and tell the
Yeah, I'll
updates.
start. I'll start with the first one is that we do have our website fully complete right now. So it's up. You can check us out at www.ngfnews.com. We'll be uploading blog posts like any other news source would, and we're gonna put a twist on all our blog posts. We're gonna make them interactive. We're making fun, analytical, and real news essentially. None of that
Yeah,
where you read it and it's like, oh, what is everyone saying? And
yeah.
if you are watching my camera, just a quick, I know I'm looking up, but that's just because my camera isn't, my cord isn't long enough to get to the top of my monitor.
It is
But
what it is.
that's update number one.
Yeah, definitely. And we have a new rebranded logo with our website. We're very excited to hopefully put this out very, very soon and on all of our social media so you can see the updated NGF logo and the new beginnings for our team.
Oh, absolutely. Is there any other updates?
I don't think so. I think
Okay.
besides that, we all have some great internships that we will be showing on our
Oh yeah.
Instagram in the next coming week. So
Yeah, we're really trying to immerse ourselves in the DC culture and also work as well because we want to be experts. It's only fair to be talking about news and things happening around the world if you're an expert on it as well. So that's our goal.
absolutely.
Is to fully educate ourselves more so we can educate you all as well. So I just want to take a big shout out to Be Mindful Web or James. If you're watching this podcast, thank you very much for helping us build our website. And if anyone needs some needs a website built, please check out Be Mindful Web. It's B, just the letter B, and then Mindful Web altogether. So definitely check him out. He definitely made our website phenomenal, and I love
It's
it. So
incredible. It's incredible.
yep.
Yeah.
So let's get straight into it, Josh. Do you have
Yeah.
anything else? All right, perfect.
Well,
We'll start with the India moon landing, which is pretty historic. So this one is a widely acknowledged. I'm sure media has blasted it when it happened. So India's mission program, the India Space Research Organization, or the ISRO, has launched a Chandrayaan-3 lunar landing. That's not bad.
yeah.
And they went straight for the South Pole because at the South Pole of the moon, they have there's possibilities to find oxygen, fuel, and water for future missions. The goal for the ISRO is to hopefully find these, and make the South Pole a perfect place to essentially set up a colony or do more research into finding more minerals or anything important for here on Earth, especially water. Because if we can find water, for example, on the South Pole of the moon, we can possibly bring it back and fix um, water issues that we are facing here in the world.
Yeah, absolutely. And the one significance about India's moon landing, it's almost as significant as when the United States first went to the moon in 1969 or 1968. One of those years. I always forget. But
One of them.
yeah, it was one of the two. But it's so important for India. It's very important. It shows that they're growing. They're landing on the South Pole, which is the first ever spacecraft, I believe, to hit the South Pole of the moon. Is tremendous, and the fact that they are there is showing that they are growing as an economy and as a world player. India is here to stay is basically what this shows. But the second that I keep reading about, what things that come to my head is how this is going to bring the international community together. Moon landings and space exploration could be the next step to creating a new unity and cooperation within the international community. The United States, China, Russia, South Korea, India, Israel are among many of the nations that have explored, the outer rims of space and have landed on the moon. Not all those countries I listed landed on the moon specifically with people, but or even rovers, but they would use satellites to study the surface of the moon. So this new beginning of space exploration is what's going to draw NASA and other space programs together to combine resources to get to the moon and do more studies and private cooperation.
Yeah, absolutely. And one of the main studies is finding oxygen and water. That's going to be huge. I mean, imagine if we do what the future is, what NASA and other space agencies can do together to use that for not only future space exploration missions, but also to make, maybe a colony. Who knows? India has tried in the past before, and also Russia has tried to get onto the South Pole. Well, Russia tried, and India tried as well with the Chandrayaan 2. But I
Mm.
think the rover crashed, and I think it came in too fast on the South Pole. So their third time's a charm. They ain't lie. Three times is lucky. So they got it on the third try, and surprisingly enough, their budget was 75 million for that.
Wow, that's not as
So
much as I would have thought.
with 75 million, they built the spaceship and the rover, everything they need to do this. I think it's a 2 week mission, if I'm not mistaken. But
Yeah,
um, this is, as you said, it kind of is a national pride thing, like you said before. It boosts India on that international stage, and the world the world stage kind of looked at India's space program and their goals, and they were like, wow, they are too ambitious. They're never gonna do it. They don't have the things they need, but they pulled it off with $75 million, and that shows that not only are the Indian scientists determined, but the people of India are determined to break through and
yeah, that's,
show the world that they will do it regardless of what everyone else thinks.
yeah, absolutely. And what India also is showing is that there are technological advances coming out of where their scientists and their money, they're creating the next waves of technology. And I think that countries like the United States, China, well, China maybe not so much because of their relationship with India, but Japan and the United States, Russia, they might want to start working together with India to combine the minds that they have in their space programs, and maybe even go and branch out. They could start looking into, new trade deals and economic deals, and maybe start putting their scientists to create new agricultural technologies, computers. I mean, Apple is a great example of an American company putting one of their largest manufacturing, or building one of their largest manufacturing plants in India and opening their first Apple store in India. India is showing that they are growing, and a lot of countries are showing that they have interest in India. So now the next step is cooperating with India to hopefully create more cooperation within that region and with countries outside of the region. So there's more global cooperation and less fighting and bickering like we've been seeing in these past, 3 years.
I agree, yeah. I think my question is, because their goals were previously, too ambitious, and other people looked at India like, oh, they're not going to do it. It's impossible. Would the ISRO be willing to still work with um other space agencies like NASA, and I forgot the name of the European one? Would they still be willing to work regardless of the pushback they received, and kind of keep all the information they learned to themselves, or would they information share at a cost?
Yeah, it's definitely going to be something where India is going to use its negotiating power to essentially say, listen, you doubted us. We want to take leads on these projects now. Like, you want to work with us, but we have to lead the project. Everything has to be in India. All the resources come from India. We're going to be the leaders of these projects. And I think it's not just going to be space related uh, projects that they choose. It's going to be agricultural projects, technological projects, going to be finance projects that they're going to want to say, we want them to be in India because you guys doubted us. We proved you wrong. You know, Now you want to work with us because of it. We're going to take control. I think that's
Hmm.
going to be India's response.
I think that's a perfect response. I think India should take the first step here and lead everything because they have the research, they have the data, they have it all for themselves. They should still continue to information share, but they should lead on all space exploration projects. I think that's only fair because they know they have the knowledge. They're the ones that explored out there, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah,
And the United States has done a lot of large space exploration things, and they've moved to beyond barriers of the past. I mean, we've had rovers on Mars for years. We've flown tested rockets around our globe to try and get to Mars, and even with all of these space explorations, we have not seen many countries go to the wire that the U.S. has, but now India has pushed the limits compared to what other countries have in the past. And this is going to create a new relationship, newfound relationship between all countries who are looking for space exploration and also just cooperation within the future.
absolutely agreed. I don't have much else to say on the India moon landing. If you want to go straight into Russia affirming military ties with Iran.
Yeah, let's do it. I mean, this is very interesting. And not in the case that we knew that Russia and Iran were going to like not just stop being friends because of international pressure. We knew that this wasn't going to happen. But
Oh,
it's the
absolutely.
fact that they say it on TV to basically tell not just the international community in terms of what we look at it as diplomats and government workers, but to tell regular people that we're not changing. And on live TV, I mean, these are words that like are quoted. This is by the RIA, which is a state-run news agency. Cooperation with Iran will continue. We are two independent states. We will not succumb to international pressure, i.e., they said the United States and its satellites. I mean, those are tough words that they're telling just to their population, not diplomats. So I think this is very fascinating to see where this will go in the future and see if public pressure and international pressure can even push them apart. Period.
I personally don't think that there's much the international community can do to prevent not only the sale of drones to Russia, but just stopping their cooperation altogether. There's really no incentive for Iran to stop because all we do is place sanctions after sanctions after sanctions, hoping that they would stop to sell, hoping that they would stop selling drones to Iran. And for Russia, they need those drones. They are very they have been kind of the backbone of the Russian military. They can hit targets from afar, and they are not going to stop cooperating because they need them. And if Iran is worried about sanctions, they really don't like care because Russia is just giving them money and money to produce more drones and to sell them more drones. So for Iran, they're bypassing sanctions. So they're finding a way to make more income. That's why they're unbothered by what the media says. And the defense minister of Iran, Tilal Nik, made a very strong claim saying that Iranian drones have attracted interest from not only Russia but Western and European. So I don't know what he means exactly by that. Are they interested in the design and how they work, or are they looking to kind of purchase them and see what these drones are all about?
Yeah, Iran is a player like Saudi Arabia, like China, like uh, what's a good example? Nigeria, where they just are looking to sell what they have. They don't care to who,
Hmm.
as long as they're going to make money. And now this is the side of the coin. Iran sees an opportunity to join the second largest economic bloc on the planet, BRICS.
Hmm.
And if you guys read the news, which is what we always promote, South Africa, their president, whom was at the recent BRICS conference, was invited, formally invited, not said they were formally invited on national television, Iran to BRICS, along with Argentina, along with the UAE, and a few other countries. They invited them on live television. Iran sees a new awakening, a new opportunity to join the second largest economic bloc and potentially make it even bigger. So they're not going to stop. They're just not going to.
They're not going to, and no matter what, if they get into BRICS and they get everything, all if they get all the benefits of BRICS, why should they care about what the West does to them sanctions wise? They don't. It's not. They're not going to be affected anymore. And this is perfect for Russia because they need people more. They need more people in BRICS to further support their more economic side. And Iran can be perfect for military protection, more of the defense side of BRICS, not only for economic cooperation. So this is kind of a win-win for Iran. So, and I'm sure they're highly interested in being a part of BRICS to get through the sanctions.
Yeah. But this is where the West goes wrong. This is where the West, their strategy doesn't work. Morality, unfortunately, gets in the way. And not that morality is wrong. Morality is important. It's an important part of Western values, but it's getting in the way. It's pushing people away, like countries away, like Iran, because we're trying to sit on this moral high ground that we should not be sitting on in the first place because the US doesn't have that moral high ground that we think we do, and even though we want to, and we need to try and just establish a dialogue at the least with Iran, but we don't. So we push them straight into Russia's hands. And the more that we continue to put sanctions on them, and look, I'm not saying that Iran's not bad. We know what they do is wrong. We know what they're doing to their people is wrong. But without establishing a dialogue, look at the Taliban. We established a dialogue with the Taliban. The Taliban. Tell that to someone 20 years ago. They would have spat in your face. But we've
They wouldn't
established a
believe it at
dialogue.
all.
Oh yeah, exactly. Not at all. We've done it. We've established a dialogue with their government.
At minimum. At minimum.
Yeah, that's it. Because we recognize that this is what we got to have to deal with. It's no, we're not going to change it. This is what we got to deal with. We might as well just communicate.
And it's
That's
and it's kind of sad that the US is kind of just urging Iran to just stop. They're just urging them. They're on their knees saying, "Listen, chill out." This is not it. This is exactly what Iran wants. They want to know that they have the upper hand on the United States and other Western allies.
it's
This
embarrassing.
it is embarrassing, and we're still and Russia's still getting those drones, and we have. I don't want to say we have failed because it's too strong, but I want to say that more can be done to try to find better ways to find a solution.
Yeah, and listen, if we're sanctioning these drones, let's say the United States, I'm not sure if we do this, have formal sanctions. Let's say the United States sanctions these drones, and the only way that they run through is through, let's say they run through European lanes. Why isn't Europe doing more to prevent these drones from getting to Ukraine? Because it's fairly difficult to get them to the Ukrainian ports. Russian ports, is easy, but it's a further route for Iran to move. But Iran then can move through, the mainland and get to Russia. Why aren't we doing more to prevent these arms from crossing borders? Iran and Russia are not they're not there. They're not connecting. So it's not like it's an easy path straight through. There are ways we can get around moving these drones, but all we're doing is like sanction. That's it. And
Sanction
then we
things that are
push them
totally
away.
unrelated. I mean, they might be sanctioning things that, like materials needed to build drones
That's true.
to Iran. But still, like you said, how are they? How is it even physically possible unless it's by air freight? But then again, airspace is a question, is a matter too.
Yeah, it's
What
absolutely is.
it's interesting to see why, or maybe we have found exactly what flight route those drones, the cargo takes to get into Russia. Maybe we figured that out. Maybe we haven't. I'm not sure exactly, but how are we
Yeah,
not
that's
like? I'm not saying like shoot them down. I just find out where those routes are, and then from there, see what you can do. It's kind of interesting to me where Where is the information? Where is everything essentially?
It seems a lack of communications between, the West or the United States and Europe, and clearly there's not a lack of communication between Iran and Russia, where they see how to get around everything. Excuse me, how to get around everything to make sure that these drones can get into Russian hands so they can use it to win this war. But we're over here just like sitting there, figure like where is it going? Like how can we not see these paths, find these paths, use intelligence, use satellites, tracking devices to try and prevent this operation from moving mass drones, killing civilians. That's what pisses me off the most because these drones are killing civilians and yet we're sitting there begging them, oh please don't send them instead of taking action to prevent them from getting into Russians' hands. And that's just embarrassing. They're killing people, and we're just like, stop it, please, stop it. Like,
That's exactly the response.
yeah, it's ridiculous.
And if y'all say otherwise, I mean, it's on Reuters. I think I've read Reuters and U.S. News where they said that the United States is urging, and it's the message is kind of sad. And you know what
Depressing.
blows my mind is that one day I was on Flight's Radar 24, and I found in the Black Sea, I think it was an MQ-9 U.S. drone on Flight's Radar, which I don't even know how that's public information, but yet we can't
Yeah.
find how Iranian drones are ending up in Russian hands. And when it
Yeah.
first happened, the whole world was shocked. When it first happened, I remember it. Like the media was going crazy to find out
Oh
Iranian
yeah.
drones were being used um, in Ukraine, and it's like, wow, that was, and it's like, but we can find where a U.S. drone is on public information. We can't find out how those kind of weapons ended up in the Russian military.
Listen, listen. In 2003, we were able. In 2003, with the technology 2003, we were able to invade Iraq and kill Osama, or not Osama bin Laden, Saddam Hussein in 6 months. 6 months. You're telling me in this day with the technology we have, we can't find drone shipments and crates that are heading to kill civilians? There's the difference between those two scenarios is that when there's a will, there's a way. We
Mm-hmm.
had a will because we needed to, well, Saddam Hussein was a bad person, but also because of oil reasons and 9/11 as well, quote unquote 9/11. But that's when we had a will. We found a way. But now it's like there's no will for the U.S. and it feels like there's no will for Europe, which there should be, and they're just not going to find a way.
That is very interesting. The way you put it, there is. It doesn't feel like there's a will to for the U.S. and pretty much NATO to try to stop supply, but they're so focused on directing all their like energy towards Russia, but they're not looking at things like Iran or things like where are all these like shipments? Where's Russia getting? I think they're too focused on Russia themselves and stopping Russia in Ukraine from moving forward into Ukraine, which is I think you brought up a great point. Is that they're looking in the wrong place, and two, there is no. It doesn't feel like there's a will. There's a will to stop Russia, but there's not a will to stop how Russia gets their supplies.
Yeah, and maybe people are viewing this. I'm sure analysts within this DC community we're sitting in would look at this and be like, okay, well, this is military movement. If we prevent these shipments from moving over, let's say that they're flying, this could be an act of war in a sense, and that is in technical terms correct. But an act of war also is a military operation moving over airspace, moving over land. So if Iran is moving into sea waters, Mediterranean's not very big, so you're going to hit someone's territory at some point. That is an act of war, and this war itself is an act of war on the world. So I think getting rid of that term that if we're gonna destroy them, it's an act of war. Because what is it when they destroyed the Nord Stream pipeline? Is that not an act of war? Yeah, because that's what it sounds like to me.
Hmm.
It's act of war.
Yeah, no, that's. I mean, I can't imagine, right? You have a drone shipment, like you'll see the carcass or you'll see the wings of a drone in a cargo shipment, and you don't think for a second like where's this big drone going? Why is it in
Where's
my port? Like, why are these parts in my port? I mean,
yeah,
it's like also like how is it possible? Who knows what their shipment method is? What we're saying is like completely hypothetical. Maybe there's still air shipments, but even then, it's like, what is this Iranian drone that is on my? What is this Iranian aircraft on my radar going towards Russia? Or why is this container from Iran in my port? It's like you would have to like at least ask a question. You know what I mean?
think about it. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
That's it. Use your brain. Yeah,
Yeah, but I think that's all for this latest global development
yeah,
episode.
I
If you
think
have
so.
anything else to add,
No, I mean these are two world changing events. I mean the India moon landing, I think, is the most significant to the future of what we're going to see in geopolitics. Which is, it's funny because it seems so insignificant to what politics are, but it really isn't. Politics affects everything. Everything you see is political, some from somewhere. So, you know,
absolutely.
don't underestimate what this moon landing is.
Oh, absolutely. I think this is huge, and I wish
Yeah,
it was more talked about. But really, I really believe that this is the next step for space exploration, and I'm
yeah,
glad we've gotten to that point.
absolutely, definitely.
Cool. So thank you all for listening into this week's latest global developments. Thank you for sticking with us, even though we've been a little bit in the rough patch, but now we're back and we're strong and we have all the resources we need to give you guys the best quality content. So thank you for bearing with us.
Awesome. Yes, enjoy everybody.